here. Thank you very much for joining me. The drama there in the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz continues, our blockade continues, and I learned some real interesting, highly important information about the blockade and why we're doing that. But first, here's one of the vessels that Iran has captured, has taken. It's a Panamanian or Panama vessel, the MSC Francesca. The Iranian state media says that the two vessels that were taken were because either they didn't have their proper permits, didn't pay Iran, or they had their navigational systems turned off. All the way out over here. The other vessel that they took is in the same location. They're beside each other. Is the Epaminondas. Sorry for pronouncing that wrong. It is a Greek vessel, or the operator is Greek, and it's owned by Liberia. Both of them were fired upon and stopped and boarded. This vessel right here, Iranian forces approached it without any radio warning whatsoever. They just came up alongside, started firing on it. I don't know if it stopped or if they somehow got on board, but they did get on board and took the vessel. They used RPGs, and there is damage to the bridge. I don't know. They haven't said if anyone was injured or killed because of the heavy damage to the bridge. The ship is disabled. Whereas the other one, this one right here, the hull was hit by some sort of projectile. Both vessels are now stopped. This one here, I think, is being moved towards the Iranian coast. They're going to inspect its cargo and more than likely seize the cargo. The Euphoria was fired upon because they're saying that it strayed close to their coast. There hasn't been any word that this ship was stopped, but gunships did fire upon it, and there's its track. The crew of this cargo vessel is evidently safe, so thank God for that. So that's the three vessels that have been fired upon. Now, going into details about our blockade and what we're doing, we're probably somewhere in this area where we got our warships. But the reasoning is so that Iran cannot export oil. And they're going to have to end up shutting down their fields because they won't have the storage capacity very much longer, I should say. Iran's oil production is about 3 to 3.5 million barrels per day. Their storage facilities could hold about 90 million barrels. And once those storage facilities are filled up, they're going to have to stop production. If they have to cap the wells, that could, depending on how long that would last, that could make it where they would have to shut down the fields, and it could take months or even years for the fields to have the capacity to be opened up again. You just can't shut down a oil field, cap it off, and then expect it to be able to reopen the next day. That's not how it works. Once a field is shut down, you got water, you got gas, you got different types of pockets and sediments, and things change under the ground. According to energy analysis, they only have maybe about 16 days left before all their facilities, their storage facilities, are completely full, and they're going to have to start shutting down the oil fields. Iran in the past has heavily relied on the tankers to, put the oil in, to transfer the oil so that their storage facilities wouldn't fill up, so that they wouldn't have to stop production. But now with the Strait of Hormuz and our blockade, Yeah, that's going to be a big problem for them. According to reports from JP Morgan and Reuters, they're at Karg Island. Their um, storage facilities are about 58% full. So that's probably why the U.S. attacked that facility. About 90% of Iran's oil actually goes from Karg Island. And this is its location using Google Earth. So I wanted to take a look here on the map to show what vessels might be there at Karg Island. And it's one of the vessels that's currently under our sanction list. Here's its recent track that it shows here. Let me bring this out some more. All right. Let's see. What else do we got in this area? We got another one here. Okay. Try and bring this over so you can see it. It's also an oil tanker. Looks like it's a Singapore-based tanker. And there's its track. Okay. So how desperate is Iran going to get? Once their storage facilities are filled up, they know they're going to have to shut down production. And at the current rate, that's going to be about 2 weeks. Currently, they have an Iranian oil tanker that is exiting the Strait of Hormuz. So I wonder if the U.S. will grab that. I'll show you its track. Yeah, yeah, I wonder if we'll grab it. But that's that one. And yeah, all the little dots are the ones that are parked. Let's see. Look down here. Like I said, I think the U.S. forces are probably somewhere down in here or over here. This tanker is the United Arab Emirates. Um, are they going to let that through? I'll show you its track. Yeah, I don't know. And this one here is an Iraqi oil tanker. Let me bring it out. Just looking at some of these. So, are we only going to be grabbing Iranian oil tankers to force them to shut down production? And evidently, the U.S. took or stopped another Iranian oil tanker, the Tifani. Oh, it's way out here. Okay, so we are grabbing other types of tankers in other parts of the world. Um, yeah, it evidently loaded up there at Karg Island, so it's filled with Iranian oil and is part of Iran's shadow fleet. Yeah, we got 4 days to decide if we're going to board it, and if we do board it, we'll use helicopters, things like that we did with that other cargo vessel. The U.S. calls it a stateless vessel, and we're going to decide later what to do with that oil. Are they going to give it to another country? Are we going to take it for ourselves? Are we going to tow it? No gunfire was used to stop it. So it's currently just circling around there in the Indian Ocean. I was hoping that I could see its past track, but nothing shows up. So it must have its tracker turned off. This is evidently where it was supposed to go. Looks like down there by Singapore. Yeah, Malaysia. Yeah, they had a big fire there in Malaysia in one of their ports when they were transferring oil from different vessels. It evidently is carrying about 200 um, million barrels of oil worth about 140 to 160 million dollars at current oil prices. But that oil price fluctuates. It's recently gone up again to about $91 dollars a barrel. Currently, worldwide, there's about 177 tankers out, delivering Iranian oil. About 166 of those vessels are under either fraudulent or what they call high risk flags. Since we put up the blockade, anywhere between 26 and 34 vessels have slipped through the Strait of Hormuz. This latest vessel that we seized was taken by Lewis B. Puller, USS Lewis B. Puller. I did find other reports that we did board that vessel using helicopters. So this is an image of the USS Lewis B. Puller. Yeah, and so this would be the area probably where the helicopters would land and etc. Here's another image of the vessel. Yeah, interesting how the side is all open on this. And here's another image that I found showing helicopters, yeah, landing on its deck. General Dan Kane and Admiral Brad Cooper have publicly stated that they have eyes on dozens of other Iranian vessels that they will be stopping soon. Evidently, too, to strengthen our blockade, the USS Gerald R. Ford arrived there, along with its strike group, and the George H.W. strike group, which is currently down there by the Horn of Africa, is supposed to arrive here sometime this month. In all, they're supposed to have about 27 U.S. military vessels in this area. But I thought that was interesting, creating this blockade so they can't transfer the oil, and their storage facilities would end up being completely filled up so that they would end up having to shut down their wells, which would, yeah, damage some of the fields, or at least make it a lengthy process to have to restart them once they've been shut down. I thought that was interesting. So that's the latest that I have about the conflict going on here in the Persian Gulf and the recent ship that we grabbed and the vessels that Iran has fired upon, etc. Yeah, sending prayers to all those sailors. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.